Imagine walking down a quiet street at night. The road is empty, the air is cold, and suddenly, you feel eyes watching you from above a parked car. Two glowing green eyes. A small black figure hiding in the shadows. But what you don't know is that this little cat carries a secret that could change someone's life forever. This is the story of Lumi, the cat nobody expected to become a hero. In a small, peaceful neighborhood lived a young man named Adele. Quiet, kind, and living alone after his family moved away. He led a simple life, filled with routine and a sense of solitude. One rainy evening, while walking home from his long shift at work, Adele heard a faint, almost inaudible sound coming from behind a trash bin. He moved closer, pushing aside the damp cardboard, and found a tiny black kitten. It was shaking, covered in mud, and one of its eyes was badly injured. Adele hesitated. He stood there for a long moment, the rain soaking through his jacket. Should he take it, or should he leave it? His apartment was small, and he wasn't sure he could care for an animal. But the moment the kitten saw him, it let out a weak, desperate meow. It wasn't just a sound, it was a cry for help, a plea for a chance. In that instant, Adele's heart melted. He gently picked the kitten up, wrapped it snugly in his warm jacket, and took it home. From that night on, everything in his life began to change. He named him Lumi. Months passed. Under Adele's care, Lumi transformed from a weak, fragile kitten into a healthy, beautiful cat. His fur became a shiny, jet black coat, and his eyes, one a brilliant green and the other a striking blue, caught the attention of everyone who saw him. He was a stunning cat. But Adele soon noticed something strange about Lumi. Something he couldn't quite explain. It started with small things. Lumi seemed to sense things before they happened. One afternoon, Lumi sat by the window, completely restless, his tail twitching as he stared intently at the clear blue sky. Adele thought nothing of it. But the next day, a violent storm rolled in, completely out of nowhere, just as Lumi seemed to have predicted. Then, Lumi began to intervene in Adele's daily life. One time Adele, groggy from a long day, accidentally picked up the wrong pill from his medicine cabinet. Before he could even bring it to his lips, Lumi leaped onto the counter with incredible speed and knocked the pill right out of his hand, sending it skittering across the floor. And perhaps the most uncanny thing was how Lumi always appeared at the front door just seconds before someone was about to visit. Whether it was a friend, a delivery person, or a neighbor, Lumi would be sitting there, waiting patiently, as if he had his own personal doorbell. Adele would often laugh and scratch Lumi behind the ears, saying, "Are you a cat? Or are you a fortune teller?" He thought it was just a funny coincidence, a charming quirk of his unique pet. But the truth was far more serious than he could have ever imagined. One quiet Tuesday night, around 2 in the morning, Adele was sound asleep, lost in a deep dream. The entire neighborhood was silent. Suddenly, Lumi bolted into the bedroom, jumped onto the bed, and started scratching Adele's arm aggressively, his claws digging in just enough to cause a sting. Adele woke up in shock, blinking in the darkness. "What's wrong, Lumi? What is it?" he mumbled, still half asleep. The cat didn't stop. He sprinted toward the kitchen, letting out loud, panicked meows, a sound Adele had never heard him make before. Confused but now fully awake, Adele got out of bed and followed him. The moment he stepped into the kitchen, he froze. A thick, suffocating smell of gas filled the air. He saw it immediately. One of the stove knobs was slightly turned, leaking gas silently into the small apartment. If he had slept for just 10 more minutes, the buildup could have caused an explosion. The slightest spark could have been fatal. Adele stood there trembling, his heart pounding in his chest. He looked down at Lumi, who was now sitting calmly on the kitchen floor, staring back at him with his mismatched eyes. You just saved my life," Adele whispered, his voice shaking. In that silent exchange, Lumi slowly blinked, a long, deliberate blink, as if to say, "That's why I'm here." The next day, still shaken, Adele took Lumi to the veterinary clinic for his regular checkup. He told the vet everything that had happened: the storm, the pill, and the gas leak. He expected her to be skeptical, but instead, she smiled warmly. Some cats have incredibly strong senses, she explained. They're very sensitive to changes in their environment, but your cat, she said, looking at Lumi, he seems special. She went on to explain that some cats can sense danger with remarkable accuracy. Their keen sense of smell can detect gas leaks or the faintest hint of smoke from a fire. They can pick up on subtle changes in a person's body chemistry that might indicate an illness, and they are incredibly attuned to emotional distress and stress. You're very lucky. The vet concluded, not everyone gets a guardian like him. Adele looked at Lumi differently that day. He was no longer just a pet he had rescued from the street. He was a guardian, a protector who had repaid his kindness in the most profound way possible. From that moment on, Adele began calling him the silent hero. A year later, Adele moved to a new, safer apartment in a brighter part of town. And of course, Lumi went with him. The little black cat quickly became a beloved figure in the new neighborhood. Kids adored his unique eyes and gentle nature. The neighbors would often say he looked like a cat who understands humans, always seeming to know who needed a gentle nuzzle or a calming presence, every night, before going to sleep. Adele would look at Lumi, curled up at the foot of his bed, and whisper, "If I had left you on the street that day, my life would have been completely different." This story isn't just about a clever cat. It's about a soul that arrived at the perfect moment, a silent hero hiding in plain sight. It's a reminder that every animal, no matter how small, simple, or overlooked, has the potential to be a hero in one unexpected, life-changing moment. Sometimes, the greatest saviors are the ones we least expect. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more incredible stories.